Over the past 2 years, Adobe has introduced a lot of new features to Lightroom that makes the general quality of life when it comes to editing so much better. But recently, Adobe has introduced a new feature, and it's not AI, that I think will change the way people edit forever. But it probably should have been a thing a long time ago. But it's finally here. So you may be wondering what this new feature is, because like I said, it's not AI, and I'm not talking about the new AI denoise in Lightroom. While that is incredible, what I'm talking about is being able to use the tone curve inside of a mask. So while we're here, I'm going to show you guys in Lightroom what this new tool is capable of. As an example, I have one of my photos from my Route 66 trip pulled up. And while these photos are not technically hard to edit, the fact that I shot these midday, not during a golden hour time, means they were a little bit more tricky to edit and to get that look just right. I don't think this update was out when I originally edited these photos, but now I'm thinking I'm gonna go back through and re-edit a lot of them using this. I have a photo of Roy's pulled up here, and first thing we're going to do, we're gonna go through and add my preset on top. We're gonna go with standard, and we're gonna go with the gold color grade, which I think looks really nice. I like the sky. Let's play around with that just a little bit here in the highlights. Yeah, I think we'll leave it about right there. We're gonna go create a mask. We're gonna do a linear gradient, and we're just gonna go up on the foreground and the landscape. Then we're going to subtract the sky. Because we don't want to make any adjustments to the sky, we want to stick to the sun, the buildings, the mountains, and the road. Then you can scroll down and you see the tone curve here. We're gonna start by making a simple S curve. We're just gonna play around and see what we can do. We're going to adjust the contrast in the darks here, and I think that's already looking really good just by bringing that down. Adds a nice bit of contrast to the road and to the darker parts of the image, like this car, which I think I'll probably end up removing in Photoshop, but also the shadows on the buildings and the doorway. It does not seem to do too much to the actual sign up there where it says Roy's. Next, we're gonna bring down the light just to make this image look a little bit flatter. We're gonna bring down the dark parts of the mask a little bit more. Now that we have that, let's go back to the linear gradient, and we're going to just go up on this a little bit so we can get a little bit more contrast in that Roy sign on the black and then the white. Now it looks like we're gonna have to subtract the sky again. There we go. And you can already see how much of a difference it makes when it comes to the contrast of the landscape. You can see a lot more detail in the road itself. You can see the mountains look a lot better, and the sign itself looks great. I will put a before and after up on the screen so you can take a little bit of a closer look and pause if you need to. Let's edit a different photo, for example, this time, not a Route 66 photo, and we're just going to take a photo that I recently shot the other day while I was out just shooting some street photography. And I shot this photo of this guy, and while I don't think it's a bad image, I think it could definitely use some work. Let's go ahead and apply a black and white preset, since black and white tends to work pretty well for street photography. Take that. Now I think we want to adjust the subject itself. It did a pretty good job there. I think that would be good. Let's set our control points for our S curve. I want to make the darker parts of him a little bit darker to give him more of a silhouette look, and I want to bring up the highlights so the light that is reflecting off of him from the sun will just separate him from the background a little bit more. I think that looks pretty good. Now let's select the background, which it looks like it selects the entire screen pretty much outside of him. Let's set our control points and see where the darker parts of the image are affected here. So yeah, it looks like the building in the background and the shadows is affected here. So we're gonna bring those down, make them a little bit darker. And I already love that separation between his hat and the background and the light reflecting off of his vest here. So let's see what we can do here with the highlights on the ground. Let's bring those down, just make them a little bit softer. And there we go. I don't think there's any other adjustments we need to make to this image. I think photographers that edit their photos in black and white pretty often can use this tool to their advantage, even more so than someone who is editing a landscape that's in color. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an example of how I plan on using this new masking feature in Lightroom on probably all of my photos in the future. The examples I showed you are just barely scratching the surface of what is possible using the tone curve in masks. I'm just thinking about all of the different possibilities now with this new feature. I think this will be an amazing tool, especially for portrait photographers or even real estate photographers. I love that Lightroom is constantly updating the masking, and since they incorporated this new masking system into Lightroom, I just keep on thinking about how I wish I had that 6, 7, 8 years ago when I was first learning how to edit in Lightroom. It would have changed everything for me. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. So if you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to help support me so I can continue growing and reaching a larger audience, and go out and shoot.